Hello there. This is Cindy at Cindy B Designs. Thank you for joining me today. This is a card that we will be making, and I have another angle for it for you. But once again, this morphed from something I made from earlier this week that was on the blog yesterday. And it started out with this card here made from the Parisian Blossoms Suite, and that's from the Forever Blossoms stamp set of that die cut the flowers, and I use colored pencils to color it in with a basic gray ink, and then I use the colored pencils on top of it. And in sponge dauber in the middle, I wasn't too happy with the way that turned out. So then I turned around and did that to where I took the rubber directly to the paper and used Stampin' markers to put the framer on the outside, the leaves, the branch, the stamen part. I didn't like that either. So then I decided to get a little bit more creative, but what did I do with that there? I have no idea why. Well, we know how I am. So anyhow, I decided I wanted to darken things up a little bit. So I'm looking at that image there, and I just decided to, set the camera up, turn it on. I will get to all those colors, everything. They're on the blog. Don't worry, because I get spacey. And so, yeah, here we go. The leaves are in Mossy Meadow, and the stamens so far I'm putting down in Poppy Parade ink. And again, from Stampin' markers. If you look at how I'm coloring them, I use the side of my marker because I don't want to dull the tip of it. And these are Stampin' markers, not the blends, which are the alcohol ones. These are the water-based ones. And I'm not cleaning the stamp off when I change colors, as you can see from the leaves and from the branch and from the stamen, because that way it gives me kind of a guide where to know to mark everything up or color it up. And then I'm putting down the color, as you can see by that flower there on the left, and that is Grapefruit Grove there. And this video is about the biggest faux no-line watercoloring hack. And that's what I did. So now that I have all the images that I colored in with the markers, I'm bringing in the colored pencils. That is Early Espresso. I don't think I'm going to blend that out. And I kind of went over the line there a little bit, trying to draw it in. I didn't like how it turned out, so I erased that. And now I'm thinking, so that is a Grapefruit Grove pen from a paper pumpkin that came out about a year and a half ago, and I kept that, and that's why there's no label on that, because they're not going to put it on a paper pumpkin. That's the only colored pencil that I have. I did not get rid of it, but I'm using it and it works. So I'm going in at the top edges of the petals, and I'm coloring them in very, very light. And so I'm doing that to the buds and everything like that. And then there's a couple spots to where I was really careful about coloring in, or putting down the markers on the rubber impression there. And so I hand drew the other lines in with, well, the colored pencil pretty much. So I thought about laying down Old Olive in the leaves, and it's like, oh, that might be a little bit too much, because I did put that color down in Mossy Meadow, which is very dark. So I decided to take the blender pen and pull the ink around to fill in the leaves, and that worked out so much better, because it would have turned into mud if I didn't do that after everything that I tried to, with the faux line watercoloring. So now I'm taking the blender pen to the Grapefruit Grove colored pencil, and I'm pulling that down towards, the middle, again, very lightly, just a little bit. And then I'm thinking, that's what we look like. So now I'm kind of thinking, do we want to blend out the red in the same way? But no, I don't, because, and I'm experimenting here, but that's why I didn't like the other impression before that I put against the black cardstock there, because it kind of dulled out the centers a little bit. And you know how like my images crisp and everything like that. So this time around, I'm using our note cards, which are 3.5 by 5. And again, the measurements for everything like that is over on the blog at cindybdesigns.com. That strip is 1/2 inch by 5, and I'm laying that down with glue. And if I remember, our image panel is going to be like a 3 by 5. Yeah, it is 3 by 5 because it's 3.5 by 5. So I'm turning around the cardstock to make sure that I can get everything on there the right way. But I need a sentiment on the front because I wanted to incorporate that silver just a teeny tiny bit from that little sliver of cardstock that we have on the left there. But the ribbon I'm going to use has some gold trim to it, so I'm trying to figure out my metallics here. So I'm putting, yeah, skip intro. I'm putting down the embossing buddy over that ink. And a couple hours have passed since I did do that, but it could still be wet, and I don't want embossing powder getting on that. That's why, you know, I lightly tap the embossing buddy on top of those other images. Stamp the friend, inverse the mark, gold powder, heat embossed it. It is 3 by 5. Putting down some liquid adhesive on the back of that panel, making sure everything's going the right way, and then I'm going to lay that down on top of the note card. So the note card is thick, so I still have like another layer on top of it. And that is how we are looking so far. That is the ribbon that comes with the Parisian Blossom Suite, and it's all there for you. One item number, one everything. That panel kind of gave me a little bit of grief. I felt like it didn't like lay down as smooth as it could have, so I'm going to bring in the brayer a couple more times. I marked at the back of that so I would know where to put that little ribbon I cut. And I'm going to end up doing a cheater's knot on that. And excuse me, because allergies, they are so bad here. I don't know much how longer I'm going to last. Living in this part of the country is terrible. So since I was having some grief over the liquid glue a little bit, because I'm stacking thick layers, I brought in the snail to put everything up, and there we go. Now here I'm bringing in a little bit more ribbon, just cutting whatever length, and I'm going to do a cheater's knot, not a bow. And so you know how I have to mess with this kind of stuff a little bit to make it all work out. And it turned out, but in the meantime, you like have to twist and turn it and make that little knot in the middle look pretty and everything like that. And I did end up slipping a glue dot underneath there because the right side where the DSP is kind of wonky, and you can see it was giving me a little bit of grief. So that's where I decided to put that glue dot underneath there and not mess with it anymore. So we are now getting into the home stretch of our card. I'm slowing down the video a little bit. I am having a creative block as far as like an embellishment stump. I don't know how to finish this card because it does need a little bit more something. Sequins, I don't know, but you know what, help me out, and I will make another video and put it out before next Saturday's video. and we can finish it off together. You know, it'll be 5 minutes, but I do hope that you enjoyed today's process. It's a great faux hack to no line watercoloring. Not really watercoloring, but you know, watercolor pencils, blending it out, and I am pretty happy with how it turned out, especially with, you know, darkening the colors towards the stamens and everything like that. So thank you for joining me today. Please hit like, subscribe, and have a fantastic weekend. I will see you back next week.